table right now is, let me keep the $1.5 million and I won't lay anybody off. If I don't get to keep the $1.5 million, I'll need to know 30 days ahead because I intend on sending 33 pink slips out.
Right.
So that's kind of where we are, and when we get an update on that, we'll let you know. There was a couple. I've noticed that the Northwest Florida Daily News has really come to shine on some of the things going on in Santa Rosa County.
They're very sunshine conscious lately.
They are very sunshine conscious. I want to read a little bit to you. This was written by Dusty Ricketts of the Northwest Florida Daily News, and that was
the 26th of July.
July the 26th. However, a series of emails from May 2006 shows that Bob Cole and Gordon Gooden communicated their frustrations about Regional Transportation Authority, which was a partnership with Escambia County, before voting to withdraw from that organization a month later. And a person who I've sent a lot of emails to, who's been very supportive in our efforts in making sure that the sunshine is fully beaming upon us, Barbara Peterson. She is the president of the First Amendment Foundation, ladies and gentlemen. And if you hadn't been to their website, look it up, firstamendmentfoundation.org. Wealth of information, help you understand how your government's supposed to operate. She said it appeared the emails did violate the Sunshine Law. Of course, only the courts can decide if a violation had taken place. She said a conversation through email represented a de facto meeting and likely would be considered a violation. She goes on to say that the Sunshine Law applies to any discussion of public business between two or more members of the same body, in this case the County Commission. They are not supposed to be using computers or emails to communicate with each other. And the main point in this is that the communication took place in email.
Yes.
That email, the state attorney's office has it, and so does the governor's office. Also, along with that, on June the 22nd of 2006, the commissioners took a vote, and they voted to remove themselves from this planning organization. And ladies and gentlemen, that is discussed. You heard what Barbara Peterson said, and they took action upon that conversation. And you know, of course, one other thing that was in the article that I did found interesting, apparently the writer, Dusty, read the email to Commissioner Cole. He said, after being read some of the messages, Cole said, "I'm not commenting on that anymore, I'm done." So, you know, look, sometimes folks have a little problem with the Sunshine Law. For some reason, they fight against it. And that very thought is outlined. This was an editorial by Pat Rice. He's also the Northwest Florida Daily News. He states that government officials at all levels, county, city, and state, tend to prefer secrecy. They sometimes ignore open meeting requirements and often make public records difficult to find or copy. Every time the Florida legislature meets, lawmakers consider new exceptions to the Sunshine Law, new ways to render certain meetings or certain records off limits. He goes on to say, and lately Santa Rosa County officials have been criticized for using private email addresses to discuss county business. This sounds like a high-tech way to hide decision making. Okaloosa officials are right to want to avoid such email shenanigans. Giving commissioners a refresher course in the Sunshine Law wouldn't be a bad idea either. And while we're talking about private emails used for public business,
right,
I made a request through the county, through our county attorney, Tom Danhauser, and I asked for copies of any emails that Commissioner Salter used his private email for to conduct business, and it was reported to me that he doesn't use his private email system for that, and he doesn't keep any emails. And certainly his response has also been sent to the proper folks that need to look at that, because I've already seen emails that he used that for, but that'll be between him and other folks.
And you know, they also printed this email, And if you read through the email, it seems like a fairly sort of a light transgression. If it's a transgression, it's very minor,
Mm-hmm.
and you may kind of be tempted to say it's no big deal. But first of all, the fact that back and forth happened to me sort of demonstrates that some people over there may be very comfortable just ignoring the sun. They're not
Right.
thinking about it. It's not an issue over there. And I suspect that if it's not an issue over there, it's because it's been ignored and it's just been broken
Well,
for
it's
so
a culture.
long.
It's
Yes,
a culture.
exactly.
You know, look, the thing.
And because we've certainly seen far worse.
Yeah.
I've certainly seen far worse sunshine transgressions over there than that.
Right.
That's minor compared to some
Well,
of the stuff I've seen.
The reason that this one was brought forward is because it has every element.
Yes.
Two people discussing a county issue back and forth. There's
Right.
no doubt what they were talking about.
Right.
And then shortly after that, the crystallization, the ceremonial acceptance of what they discussed
Right.
took place.
Now, granted, there's two of them, and they would need 3 votes.
Right.
Nevertheless, it does demonstrate a certain familiarity with
Right.
just kind of flinging ideas back and forth
Right.
between
And
two commissioners.
And in part of the budget hearings, and I even complimented them that I'm glad to see that there was a robust conversation about issues that I'm also concerned about, and it's good that we take time in a public setting to discuss those.
Yes.
I mean, it's not that hard. I just think that a culture has developed. We'll kind of do whatever we want to do, and we really and it should be obvious, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching this show, you know what kind of resistance there's been. I mean, when it gets to the point that the governor has to
Yes.
send in a representative to tell somebody
Yes.
how they're going to run their business, yeah, it should be very, very clear to you.
Send in a representative to tell them that they are going to conform to public law.
Right.
Is what he ended up having to do.
Right, and look, ladies and gentlemen, and there's some of our population that says, well, it slows down government work and all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. If my father could be the 5 county commissioners in Santa Rosa County, I probably wouldn't press too hard about it. It's all about trust, and you don't know. I mean, over this time, and look, go to santarosaspeaks.com, ladies and gentlemen, and you go read some of the emails that are on there, and all of that stuff you would have never seen if it weren't for Alan and myself requesting these emails. You would have never known the background, you would have never known the circumstances had you have not had an opportunity to read those emails.
Right.
And the Sunshine Law is just so very important, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that one of the reasons that you watch this show is to go along with us on this journey to make sure that we follow through and make sure that we are following the law. I think it's just so important.
Yes.
That and I don't understand what the problem is. We have a meeting. It starts at 9 o'clock. Sit there, the 5 of you, and have a conversation. Talk about fishing if you want to. But while you're there, talk about, hey, I'm thinking about this. Hey, I'm thinking about that. What's wrong with 5 people having an open, honest discussion?
Yeah.
If it takes 5 hours, I don't care.
Right.
Sit up there and have a conversation about things that are affecting the citizens of the county. And if any of them float to the top that you need to take action on, we'll take action on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed the show. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Good night.